Come on, kitty. Well, hey y'all, from the Lazy Garden. It's kind of late in the evening this evening, but I wanted to come out here and look at the tomatoes. I'm glad that I did because there were a couple of those green horn worms that had found them, and some cucumbers that I apparently missed this week, and one of them has grown extremely large. But I wanted to come back. It's been a week since I've made a video, and probably about 10 days now since I've put one out, simply because I just didn't feel like it. It's been difficult sometimes to take a deep breath, and I just felt like that maybe trying to talk would be difficult at times. But also, there's nothing that I can really film me doing right now because I've had to have help. Caden has been here and got, there were projects that had to be done, like the water line from the house to the new greenhouse area had to be done and inspected by the NRCS today. And I just wasn't able to push those pipes together and use my muscles to do that because I haven't been really able to use my arms, bend over, lay down flat. There's just a lot of stuff that you don't realize. Getting up and down out of a chair, you don't realize that you use your chest muscles for. So I ended up having to go back to the doctor yesterday morning because it was only getting worse. It was not getting better, and it turns out that now there's some inflammation in there in the cartilage of my sternum. So we just increased those anti-inflammatories and trying to get that out. Now, do I feel better? Yes, I feel better today. I did have to lay down and take a nap today because sometimes I just get extremely fatigued because, when you have a lot of pain, it can make you quite fatigued at times. So that, those of you who don't know, I was in an auto accident June the 6th. It was on a Friday. My video had just come out. And I was taking some eggs, 4 dozen as a matter of fact. And I always carry them in an egg basket to my son and daughter-in-law. And I was also taking them some coghill honey. I had just stopped by Brooks' roadside stand and picked up some honey. And I also had it in the car. So I'm riding down the road, and there was a gentleman. He was coming on his side of the road. I'm going on my side of the road, but apparently his farm was on my side of the road, and he did not see me, and he just came across. There was very little reaction time. However, I immediately started spinning my car and slamming on brakes. Thank God I was able to avoid the head-on, but took out an axle of his 30-foot gooseneck trailer he was pulling, and the rest is history. The seatbelt did damage my sternum. I could not take a breath in. I kind of went into shock for a minute. I remember this man crawling in the car asking, could he remove my seatbelt, and asking me, was the car still in drive or park? And, they put me on the stretcher and took me to the emergency room where they did a ton of x-rays and CT scans. Everything turned out great, nothing broken. However, there was some tendons and ligaments and stuff that might have been like really stretched or torn. Okay, so that brings me to the next few days. I was very thankful to still be alive. And, the accident, you always just kind of play it over and over in your head. I could not help it, and I'm not a crier, but I think I cried every day for the first 4 or 5 days. And I just really didn't feel good. I was in a lot of pain. I had a lot of projects that were now on the back burner and could not do by myself. And so I did not like Tony having to wait on me hand and foot. That's just not who I am. All those emotions just kind of overwhelmed me, and I had to make myself allow him to care for me. And that was just a big deal for me. But I made it through. It's been over a week. Then comes, I had to notify the insurance company. And of course, I loved that car because I had bought that car by myself, and I didn't realize I'd had it for 7 years, but the car had all the bells and whistles, and I was just really super proud of that car. Had no intentions of getting another one. Well, maybe God saw fit otherwise. But I did call the insurance company, and the adjuster, that was on Saturday. The adjuster was out there on Monday, and Tuesday they had totaled the car out. Then comes other issues that they're not pleasant for me. Admitting that my car's not coming back, it's totaled. So that upset me pretty bad. The thought that now I'm not going to have another car that's paid off. So you can't get what the insurance gives you. You can't get something exactly like you had with what they give you for your car. And that hurt my feelings. Now, I use Geico insurance, and they don't sponsor me, but I'm just going to throw this out there that I believe his name is Ricky, was my adjuster that came and looked at the vehicle. He treated us so good. Y'all, he was so nice, and he gave us the max that he could give us for the car, which still now, I'm back to having a car payment. And I did not plan to have another car payment because, I'm no longer working as a nurse. I'm here on the farm and doing YouTube. So, that's a scary thing because, with YouTube, there's especially taking off a week. There's nothing that says, hey, you're going to be able to make that car payment. Now, I could use retirement funds to do that. I don't want to do that because that's taking away. And, I want Tony to be able to retire one day. I want to stay retired and stay working on the farm and taking care of the animals and growing this beautiful garden. And I want to start, the greenhouse project. And, I got so many plans, but it just seemed like that fate wasn't working in my favor at that time. But funny story, I did have the 4 dozen eggs in the car, which they ended up all over the roof of the car and all over the seats, all over. I had a brand new pair of shoes in there. I actually had 3 pair of shoes in there. 2 of them, I don't know what happened to them. But the one brand new pair of shoes that I had to wear when I got to where I was going and I would take my boots off, now they have egg all over them. So I've got to get those cleaned. But the adjuster came, it happened on Friday. The car stayed on the tow yard lot for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. He went to adjust it, and he said he got within 50 foot of that car, and he said the smell hit him. Those eggs had been locked up, just egg yolk everywhere. They had been locked up in there since Friday. And he said, I I looked around and I knew somebody had died in that car. I told him 4 dozen eggs died that day. Luckily, I'm still here. But all jokes aside, it was a total mess, and that would have totaled the car had anything else not been wrong. But these mosquitoes are just driving me nuts out here. All this rain that we've been getting, you would think the gardens grow good in rain. Well, it washes the nutrients out of the soil, so you have to keep fertilizing. The mosquitoes are just crazy. And so anyway, squirrel, side note, but it just makes the mosquitoes grow. But anyway, then comes the car shopping. It was not pleasant for me. I probably spent 3 days looking at cars, trying to get what I had in my car with a budget. I could not do it. And I would come home and I would cry some more. And I just had to get it in my head that I was going to have a car payment regardless. I'm going to have a car payment. It may not be a big car payment because I did what the insurance was meant to happen. I put the insurance money on the new car. But I was able to find one. I found one at the local Toyota dealership, and they were so kind. I think I made a Facebook post about it. They did very, very well, and that was right here in Clanton, Alabama at McKinnon Toyota. And they don't sponsor me either, but they were so good at what they did for me that I just want to give them a shout out. But there were car dealerships that I had to deal with that was a nightmare. I don't want to ever have to do that again. I tell you, the lady looked at me and she said, "Are you going to keep your car a while?" And I said, "Absolutely. If nothing else happens, knock on wood, praise Jesus, I plan to keep it a very, very long time." So I got an extended bumper-to-bumper warranty on the car just because, now cars are more computer than they are car. But I wanted to, I didn't want anything to happen that wasn't covered. Now, the other thing, there are these lawyers' offices that you've seen the commercials. Injured in a car accident? Call so-and-so. I don't know how they know that you were in an accident, but you will get those calls. And there are very few of them now because I also had individuals that would come up to me and say, "Have you called a lawyer because you can get this much money?" Y'all, the gentleman that hit me made a mistake. And this is something that I wanted to share with y'all. This is probably the reason for this particular video today. When he hit me, he made a mistake. He did not see me. How many times did we do something simply because we didn't see it, or we didn't see somebody there, or we bumped into somebody in a grocery store because we didn't see them there? The gentleman that hit me is actually an older person. I'm not going to tell his age. That would just be unethical. But what I told the individuals and the attorneys, this world needs a little more grace. And I want to give the man some grace, because if I made a mistake like that and I didn't see somebody, I would hope that they would give me some grace. The whole do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Without saying it like that, the world needs a little more grace. And I want to give him some grace. Actually, what I would like to give him is a hug and say, it's going to be okay. Because right now, I know, because I would be very concerned that I'm about to get sued. I'm about to lose everything I've worked my entire life for because I hit someone in a car and I made a mistake. That is a lot of stress on someone. So I would love to, if I could just, and I know who it is. I've got the police report. I know who it is. I know where he lives. It's got his phone number on there. But out of respect for him and privacy for him, I have not contacted him. But I would give him a hug. And I would say, it's okay. I'm alive. I'm very thankful that I'm alive. And I'm trying not to be emotional. But it's okay. People make mistakes. And I would hope that people would show me the love that I want to show him. Because, you know, it's kind of what God wants us to do. So, sorry. But I want to show you, the last week, this garden has kind of took off. And so, you know, I've always been proud of my tomatoes. Well, you know, the rain just has really stunted them this year. But I've really worked with them and refertilized and done a lot of things. You know, I put the new fence around to keep the animals out of here. And so far it's working. But I want to just turn the camera because enough about this accident. It's gone, it's done, I'm here, I'm alive. I got a new car. I want to show you the vegetables. I want us to grow together today. And then I want to tell you about the greenhouse project. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, y'all. Can y'all see all the tomatoes on the vine? Now, I've been pruning like crazy because with all of this wet weather, you know, you get the blight. And I don't want the blight. But can y'all see how many tomatoes? And the more I prune, the more tomatoes it puts on. It is just amazing. And you can see where that mean old hornworm got on there. And he ate a little bit on the side of that tomato right there. I've already gotten a couple, and there's some blight already on here. I can see it, even though that I've pruned. There's some blight. But we're going to grow these tomatoes till they just stop growing. Those are beautiful, beautiful tomatoes. Now, can you see the jambalaya okra? That is also from Hoss. I just harvested some okra yesterday, and you can see it's already back on there. So I've got to go get some scissors. Let's get the okra off of there and get it in the freezer. Meanwhile, there are more tomatoes over here. That one's really got some blight on it right there. I may have to go ahead and take that one out of here. Can y'all see all those tomatoes? There was a hornworm right there, and I got him a minute ago. Matter of fact, he's down there. He's deflated. And I just have not been able to knock that one off earlier. I'll take him in and fry him up. I was picking him up because the wind had knocked him down. Now, the squash. The squash are pretty much, there's a couple of squash plants here, but they're pretty much done for because not only is the temperatures hot here and humid, but you know, in the summer here, you have to do squash in the spring, and timing is everything on them because the squash vine borers get involved and they just eat it up. The cucumbers, let me go ahead and grab that one right there. I had to grab some of those. Let me get that out of here. But there's more on the vine. The cucumbers are doing extremely good. Let's hope that they continue to do good. So, the okra is doing fantastic. The tomatoes are doing fantastic. And the cucumbers are doing fantastic. I have more pepper plants here. These are the Iberia Cayenne from Haas. These are the Roselle, St. Kitts Roselle hibiscus here. And I've got a couple of more over here I could plant. Come on, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on, honey. Honey is in the garden with me, y'all. The passion flower is so good for sleep. All right, so I've got to come out, and the contender bush beans here, I've already done a couple of pickings on them, and now it looks like they might be ready for another picking. I've got a few herbs that are ready. That okra is definitely ready. I transplanted some flowers here, some borage, some celosia, and something else. I can't think right now. But look, y'all. These Halcinator bell peppers, the jalapeno peppers, and the Gold Rush banana peppers, they are all starting to bloom. I've been harvesting the blueberries. Matter of fact, there's one right there. That vine is almost done. This blueberry bush is now beginning to have some to get ready. Figs. Boy, these figs are doing so good. I've got figs on the trees. Look at all those figs. This one has just went crazy. Now, I've been harvesting and call myself getting all the blackberries, but there's still some on here. I don't know where they're coming from. Maybe I missed them. But they are delicious. And I'm going to have those for, I just ate supper, so I'm going to have them for dessert. The grapes, those beetles have gotten in the grapes, but it's okay. I need to spray. They just eat those leaves up there. It's crazy. One last thing is, where are we on the greenhouse project? So today I had inspection of the water piping, and you can see she approved it. So it is now covered up. What's the status of the greenhouse? It's here. It is in the next big town or big city, Montgomery, at the warehouse, the shipping warehouse on the dock, and it will be here tomorrow. That's right. The greenhouse is going to be here and present tomorrow. Now, I have already contacted the person who's going to put it together, and he is starting on it on Saturday. So hopefully next week I can get that inspected and then put down the drip irrigation. Once I get the drip irrigation down and the ground cover, we're ready to plant, y'all. I mean, it's here. It's on us. I cannot believe this is a dream of mine. I cannot believe that dreams like that can come true. Yes, it was a horrible accident. But y'all, I'm here, I'm alive, and the greenhouse will be here tomorrow. What more could you ask for? Y'all farm on. Before I go, I want to thank Brenda for the cooling bandanas. They're called cooling bandanas. I want to thank Brenda for the cooling bandanas. I want to thank Vicki for the Thermotex. That thing is fantastic. I just want you to know that thing is really fantastic. It helps a lot. I also want to thank Patty for the gifts. I appreciate you so much. I wore the hat today. I love the hat. It's going to protect my head. But I also want to thank, there are a bunch of cards that I got in the mail, get well cards. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate every thought, every prayer, every comment, every text, every Facebook message that I got just to say, I'm thinking about you. Y'all don't know how much that means to me. It is just the best feeling when you're feeling down and you get a card or a message or whatever, and it brings you right back up again. It gives you a reason to want to feel better. But I appreciate you. I don't know, I can't even begin to tell you how much that you guys mean to me. And I hope that we can continue to be YouTube friends for a very long time.